How's it going, YouTube? Hope you guys are well. Tonight I am back with a video in my Just My Thoughts series. If you don't know about this, you haven't seen my few previous other ones in this series. This is a fragrance related discussion based video. Today's topic is creativity versus wearability. I'm not sure if wearability is actually a word. If it isn't, I just made it up. But anyway, before I get into that, I start off with my scent of the night. This is actually a fragrance that I've been wanting to get for a long time. I've had samples of this and I love this fragrance. I got it yesterday actually. This is Belle Amie from Hermes. This is beautiful and manly, very, very manly, masculine fragrance, rich in the leather, spices. Quite a kind of incensey note in there as well, quite fiery. Reminds me, for some reason, of a rich man in a private members club smoking a cigar. I don't know why I get that impression, but this is, I'm so happy I got this fragrance in my collection, actually, really happy about that. So today's topic, creativity versus wearability. Before I kind of delve into that, let's define the terms. Not too complex. What do I think of when I think of creativity? Well, creativity. This is what fragrances that are created by houses or perfumers that are really creative. You know, pushing the boundaries. They use exotic ingredients, maybe new and unique combinations of ingredients or creations of accords or different notes that you maybe never heard before. Standout fragrances that really blow your mind, grab your attention from the first spray. And I love those. I love those types of scents. You know, if you guys have seen my top 10 most intense and complex fragrances, they're all in there. They're all creative fragrances in that list. And I think a lot of those are found in the niche market. A lot of the most creative fragrances are at that side of the market. So going on now to wearability. What do I mean by wearability? Quite simple, to be honest. The fragrances that are very easy to wear. These are versatile scents, reliable scents, easy to reach for. You don't have to think about, will this fit into the social scenario? It's more of a grab, spray, hand out the door kind of fragrance. So on the creativity side of things, one fragrance that I think kind of really kind of fits that description is a fragrance I reviewed. This is from the house of Check and Speak. This is number 88. Very dark, masculine floral scent, exotic fragrances, exotic floral notes in here. Very kind of an overdose actually. Quite dark, as I said, with the kind of vetiver and incense type notes in there, I think. And lately I've been picking up on oud, but that could be just my imagination. So these fragrances, this is what I love. You know, pushing the boundaries. Really creating something new and innovative, and you know, fragrances from the houses of such as, you know, Tom Ford or people like Slumber House, creating some really wild fragrances, to be honest. And people love that. You know, people love something that really grabs their attention. But the thing is, a fragrance like that, is it wearable? Is it wearable when you go into the real world? What type of reaction do you get? You know, is it a good one? Are you likely to get negative reactions? Sometimes. You know, sometimes with fragrances in the community, with this hype or hysteria, a fragrance can be, you know, really talked about. But when you take it out into the real world and test it in the real world, sometimes you can get some really negative reactions. So this is where fragrances that are wearable come into this. On the other side of the scale, fragrances that you would have seen in my top 10 most simple fragrances list, and one that just comes to mind easily is Bleu de Chanel from Chanel. Really easy to reach for. I reviewed this recently. Still very good. You know, you still got to have quality, but this is sometimes good to have that diversity in your collection, to be able to reach for a fragrance where you think, oh, you know, is this going to work here? Who am I meeting today? Are they going to enjoy this? It's just easy. Put it on. It's enjoyable. You don't have to think about it. Excuse me. You don't have to worry about the fragrance as well. And this is what's great about building a fragrance collection, is I think it's great to have the diversity. You want those wild, explosive, in-your-face fragrances, But you don't want to wear those every day. Sometimes you want something a little bit more stripped back, a little bit more reserved, and a little bit more wearable. But also, what I think is the best is something not on both sides necessarily of the scale, but when they meet together, right in the middle. And this one just comes to mind immediately. This is Dior Homme Intense from the house of Dior, obviously. And this is beautiful because if you look at this fragrance and you put it into the context of the current, or just any, all time, the men's mainstream market, there's nothing else like this. I haven't discovered anything else like this. Prada may have a couple of Iris-based fragrances out there, but they do not match up to this. This is very, very unique. I love what Dior have done with their Iris. They've taken a risk. They have created something new. They have pushed the boundaries maybe of what is acceptable in men's fragrances. But it's not wild. It's really wearable. You could wear this to work. You could wear this on any night out. If you're meeting loads of people, you're likely to get a good reaction to this from this fragrance. And that's what's actually great, to have fragrances like this that are kind of in the middle. You're not going to be, people aren't going to be coming up to you and saying, oh God, what is that fragrance? Not necessarily commenting, but not complimenting your fragrance. And and at the same time, not ignoring you or not registering that, oh, he's wearing a nice fragrance. It stands out in other people's minds, and it stands out in your mind also that this is something pretty special, but nothing too wild. So what do I like? What do I like to have? Well, I like to have it all. I like to have the diversity. That's what I love the most. I love those Amouage interlude mans, and I love the Versace Man of Freshes and your Bleu de Chanels of the world. I think it's important to build a diverse fragrance collection. So what do you guys think? Do you like to have everything on the more creative side, or do you like to have everything on the more wearable side? Or do you actually think that your most creative fragrances are also very, very wearable? I'm not saying that a fragrance like this is not wearable, but this one is more wearable, if you see where I'm coming from. Or do you see a creativity in this type of very easy to wear fragrance? Is it impressive that they can create something that is still smelling great and is going to have this mass appeal, but isn't too wild at the same time? Just a few things I had on my mind recently. When I was testing fragrances, all sorts of things come into your mind. And over to you guys now. What do you guys think? What do you like to have? What fragrances come to mind in these categories? It's always great to hear from you, and I'll see you soon.